Hey, it's Living in the Woods with Täxt, episode 13 today. So, yeah, I finally had to do it. I finally took us to the trail that leads to that camper. And since I'm not as afraid of spiders, I'm gonna throw branches over the spider webs, and I know I'm able to get to this camper finally. And I know nobody's been staying there because I never heard any noises over here the last few weeks. For armor, I got a Steel Reserve. I got another one of those in my backpack for when I get home. Today was just a drinking day. I'm not a full-blown alcoholic, but certain days, if I get up early enough, I can have a couple of beers. So, yeah, and I needed them for the spiders, for real. I have arachnophobia. And plus I had a lot of energy. I ate pretty good. My foster parents took me out to eat last night at Five Guys. So I feel pretty nourished, and I had the energy to go on a morning stroll, so I told myself, well, I'll just walk down to the store early enough and do my morning stroll and then just have some beers after. And I knew if I cracked that beer open while I was walking up the trail on my way over here, that I would definitely have the spirit to come and try and explore this trail. Well, not explore, but I already know where it goes. It's going to take a minute. This one is not bushwhacking. He came through with a trail breaker probably over a year ago. And it's just grown over since then. The last times I went on here, I didn't really feel right throwing a branch on top of a tropical spider web by the time I thought to do that to get around them. But this time, I don't really mind doing it. I know it ain't no big deal. We gotta see this camper, you know. And yeah, facing spiders is a different story. You know, when I got a cigar and I've had a beer, I can get through it. Sorry if you're an anti-alcoholic. Me, I personally believe if you are an anti-alcoholic that you probably just don't want to eat it as bad. That barley in that beer is a good protein still. It's not much protein, but just the way that protein cell is, I can tell it is something that just helps tune your stomach in a way that some of us really identify and have use for throughout our life. My life has been pretty rocky. When I was younger, I used to just downhill skateboard and climb trees up in New York State. There's a big tropical spider there. Not in the way. But yeah, back in those days, I didn't drink. I didn't even smoke any weed back then. And I was a pretty happy guy. Very happy and healthy. I used to go out in the farm country. We find these really steep hills, steep roads that, you know, some farmer paved up in upstate New York. And, yeah, it was a little bit of an addiction once we got those boards that could go really fast on the hill without getting any speed wobble. And I do have a thing where my left leg is like almost a half an inch longer than my right leg. So when I used to skateboard, there was a limit of tricks I could do. I always sucked at doing flip tricks. So my friend, you know, he told me about longboards. We got into longboarding, and then eventually, you know, we found out about downhill boards. And I never really got into sliding and drifting, like in those really good videos. But the way the roads were in New York, it was, a lot of them were a little bit rocky, and it was tougher to slide on. So really more of the fun that we had more to do with the bombing of just the steep, straight runs. yeah, now I'm here in Florida. I've been making music for a while. I've got a deal with Sick Dance record label. Not really a deal, but you know, they put a song of mine on Spotify called Mask. That's the one they put on. I made that song before I was better at a lot of audio engineering things that I've learned since, but it was just a real creative song, and that was the first one I gave them to promote. They haven't promoted it, but they never asked me for money or demanded money from me, so that's the main thing. If you are a musician and you make music on SoundCloud, all any of us other artists will say is that it's a scam if they ask for money. Simple as that. You can go on Indeed and get a job. You know, they pay you. You know, if a record label wants to sign you, it's going to have to be a job like that. They can't just expect me to pay. This trail's pretty long. It generally goes in the direction along the highway that leads to that hidden pond in the video I made yesterday, episode 12, bushwhacking. But what I did yesterday was quite a bit, and when I got home from work, I actually wasn't all that sore or tired. So I knew today, like, I'm not gonna just sit around and bake in the sun. I gotta walk around a little bit. And yeah, I ate so much that my body felt very nourished, and I felt like I really wanted to drink some beers and just relax today. So other than the walk to work and back and this trail, good enough rest for me considering what I've been up to, drinking those pallets and everything else. It's a shame a guy like me just doesn't have a full-time job nearby that pays me for all this work I do. I definitely do enough work to make $600, $700, $8 a week. But yeah, I just don't live near any of them jobs. I haven't had a nice place to go home to for a while, so it makes it a lot tougher to go landscaping when you come home and it's just still hot and everything. You have, hardly any of the shit you need to recover from it. So yeah, I've been just working at this liquor store, and it's been a great part-time job. It just gets me enough to survive on. Try not to ramble on too much. Sure, I could have. Yeah, that one commenter, I don't know if he's a real person or not. It's cool. I didn't mean to be rude or nothing in that one video. And I know you're trying to give me helpful tips as I go on. This is the stuff I'm going to have to do. Oh, and by the way, you can see the camper now. We're that close. I know there was a tropical spider blocked me last time, pretty close to the spot, so I'll just throw a branch over it. I see it. He's really in my way. But no, yeah, I'm gonna. The thing is, I am really homeless, and I only make $30 or $40 a day usually at my job. So there's a lot of stuff I need, and I just won't be able to get stuff right away. But see, that's what music turns into. It turns into a cycle where you keep thinking you need more money to get better synthesizers or instruments or place to make the music, all that stuff. But if you just work on it, things kind of level off. And yeah, I was able to make some pretty good music with just free synthesizers. I did have to use FL Studio. Something I've had to purchase at one point, but I mean, there's free stuff out there still without even FL Studio. It's just tricky. Alright, so I'm pausing here a little bit, taking my time here in case somebody actually is here, because this trail does not, I've been up and down this road. I haven't seen any other people going in and out of this trail. I'm 99% sure no one is here. I'm just going to go ahead and film the damn thing. I'm not going to try to hide what I find here. So, yeah, I'm a little nervous. I don't know what I'm going to find here. I'm not going to go digging around his camper. I'm not going to go inside of it or anything like that. I'm walking around this clearing here, but it looks like he's got a big old water tank. This thing looks pretty old too. Is there a way over to it through here? And there's a way over to it. This stuff looks pretty old. Dang, what was this guy up to? He had a huge water tank. He's got a huge water tank out here. Definitely no one here. I would have heard or seen somebody by now. Oh yeah, and this is all overgrown. Who knows how long this has been here? Probably 3 or 4 years, at least. Maybe longer. Wow. This is crazy. I'm just out in the middle of the woods in Florida. If you're new to the show, yeah, this is Central Florida. And yeah, this guy looks like he wanted to come out here and settle a little bit. Here's his trail breaker. Now the trail breaker looks really old. It looks really old, but camper looks really old too. But geez, I couldn't even guess how long he's been out here. It's so difficult to guess that. I know I came out here a little over 10 years ago, quite a bit. And I just never came up this trail though, so I wouldn't have seen this or known about this if it was there back then. I'm just going to see if this is a tarp. No, it's just a cushion. Yeah, I need a big, I think a 20 foot by 30 foot tarp. Yeah, this site looks so old. It looks old enough for me to be kind of comfortable breaking into his camper, honestly. I mean, it's just out here in no man's land. There's the inside of it. One day that guy will come on my videos and start getting more views. Yeah, I'm just curious if he was trying to make drugs in here or not, honestly. I doubt it. Got a no littering sign on here. I'm able to open the door. This is so spooky. Yeah, this is probably the coolest thing I'll be able to show you out here for a while. There's nothing much going to be cooler than this. They've got some key. The clock isn't running. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what this is. It looks like some kind of hand lotion. Yeah, that's what it is. It's hand lotion. I don't want to even twist it out. If he ever comes back out here, I don't want him to know I was in here. But yeah, this place got to be like 5-10 years old. It looks pretty damn old. It doesn't look like he was making drugs out here. I definitely would not say he was making drugs. He was just trying to live out here. See if anything useful. There's nothing really useful in here. Anything in there? No, nothing in there. Well, okay. Looks like another guy tried to homestead out here. Couldn't pay rent. Probably had this stuff. God knows how long ago he came out here. It could have been 20 years ago, up to that. It's pretty cool, but where is that pond that I found near my pond, you know? Now I'm seeing where he is. He's kind of up on a hill. He's a lot closer to the power lines. Yeah, my site would have been, or that other pond would have been way down that way. A lot further. But you know, if he had logged this, cleared this out, he could have, you know, he had that water tank. I bet you he maybe had thoughts of having some farm animals out here and actually homesteading right here. Well, alright, I'll stop the video. I'm glad I finally got to this camper. There's really nothing interesting here. He's got a refrigerator, his old trail breaker, his giant water tank. I can see what his intentions must have been. There's no evidence of any criminal activity, and I'm not looking for it, by the way. I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble. But definitely was no... That's just really common down here, that people come out in the woods and, you know, they even sell crack kits, meth kits, little kits you can just carry as a backpack. You know, some people are ballsy enough to actually go out and try to do that, where most of it's done in those neighborhoods. Secretly in random houses and no one knows which ones. But yeah, once in a while some white dude who loves the wilderness is ballsy enough to come out here and start a drug project. I'll never do that because I've got kids and you get a lot of prison time for the shit like that. I'm just gonna walk back in here a little bit because it's just very open and clear. He probably used his breaker to get into this spot. I don't know. Sometimes you break through the trail and you find a clearing. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be very close to that other pond I found yesterday. I don't think that he has anything to do with that rope that was tied between those two trees. Yeah, that rope had a metal thing inside it, like a shiny red metal cord, so you can just tell they didn't really invent ropes like that until maybe the late 90s at least. Somebody knows a little bit more could probably find out exactly when this camper was here, no problem. Just based off of the products he had inside it and things like that. But he found himself a nice little desert brushland area. He was probably going to try to homestead in. I'm guessing one of his friends heard about it and was like, oh no, I'll help you out. And then he probably went and just ditched all this shit. So yeah, I'll stop the video now and I'll record whatever is the next interesting thing.